And we are back with the third segment of the GSMC Basketball Podcast presented by the GSMC Sports Network. And in this third segment, we're going to be looking at all the games that are going to be happening tonight, their odds, like who's the favorite, and what I think the outcome of the games are going to be. So Corrido in the chat, I'm just reading what he says. So there's one move my teammates hate in practice, and it's my pump fakes. I can do normal pump fakes or one pump fake move to the mid-range, or one pump fake move to another side and shoot the three. Oh, so you're just a pump fake demon. Carmelo Anthony in this bit. Just a pump fake demon. But regardless, honestly, that would probably be really dope to watch, just seeing you just get people every single time after every single pump fake. That would be hilarious, just seeing, like, Simon says jump, and they jump. But regardless, let's go into the games that are going to happen tonight. Now, the biggest game that's going to be broadcasted, well, actually two big games that are going to be nationally broadcasted. So we'll go over the later one because I feel like that one's going to draw in a lot more views. It's the Warriors going up against the Lakers, and it's another LeBron versus Steph Curry showdown. That is like one of the most marketable rivalries in the NBA right now. It's just two, I guess I can say it now, two old heads going at it, because it's like they're both relatively old when compared to the rest of the league, but yet they're still very, very good when compared to the rest of the league. So it's a very, very highly anticipated matchup, and it is most likely going to be the matchup of the play-in tournament, so it's going to have a lot of playoff implications stepping into this game. But if LeBron can capitalize, and if they can steal that 6th seed, that would be crazy. And that would be, like, I wouldn't really say unheard of, because it's like it's LeBron, and so, like, I'm totally expecting it. But if they do get it off, that would be a crazy prediction coming in from me, with, like, all the possibilities that could happen. Now, obviously, like, with Klay Thompson, with Draymond Green, and with Steph Curry, it's very, very difficult to predict exactly how well, like, they're going to play and how consistent they're going to be at when matching up against LeBron, how they're going to handle pressure, all that kind of stuff. Now, with this game, and with how much on the line there is, because, like, their seasons are practically, like, well, the Warriors season is more dependent than the Lakers season is more dependent than the Warriors season, because it seems like the Warriors are set on the play-in regardless. And it's like the Lakers are sort of the only team that can make it out of facing play-in scenarios compared to Golden State, at least at this point. And it's more likely that the Lakers can do it than Golden State. So that's the one game. The other game that's going to be relatively, like, that's going to be broadcasted and have a lot of people tuning in is the Celtics going up against the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, this it also has playoff implications, because they are the 1 and the 2 seed. Like, regardless of my opinions on Milwaukee and how bad they're doing this season, they are the 2nd seed. And getting a win here against the best team would be a really, really big booster for them going into the playoffs. So the Bucks, they desperately need this win. Like, desperately need this win. And if they don't get this win, I fear that that the rest of the losses that they took, along with this one, if they do lose, is just going to pile up and decrease their chances of being able to make a deep run. Which their chances now, they're already relatively low when I was talking about, like, at least compared to the beginning of the season. And so it's just like, where do they go? And if they lose, I think they're just going to, like, that loss is just going to carry into the playoffs. And then if they win, I feel like that might surge them into being better, being like, oh, we beat the Boston Celtics. We can beat any team if we really just, like, try hard enough. And it's like, it's a difference in psyche. But then again, this could also, like, I don't see it motivating them, honestly. I don't see, like, if they lose, some teams, they sort of need that loss in order to get motivated before going into that playoffs. I don't think the Bucks are that team. Now, on the Celtics side, this is just going to be like another, if they do win, it's going to be another dominant win. And if they don't win, it's going to be like, okay, I mean, it's it's not that deep because we've been winning consistently. If we drop a game to the Bucks, it's not really that embarrassing because they are the Bucks. They are a relatively good team, and they're a much better team going into the playoffs than most. So not really bad if they lose, and so I wouldn't really think there would be that much hard feelings if they did lose compared to if the Bucks lost. So those are the two most important games that are coming out that are going to be happening tonight. So we'll see. I'll probably tune into both of them, but I'm definitely going to tune into that Lakers going up against the Warriors matchup. But there are a lot of games going down tonight. So the Mavericks, they match up against the Hornets. Again, I don't really need to cover this game much, simply because unlike the possible outcomes, Dallas is 10-point favorites in this game. So that really tells you all you need to know, especially since Dallas has been on a roll recently in the regular season. I don't see why they would lose a game to the Hornets with how they've been playing and with how bad the Hornets defense is. But anything can happen, but I really think that the Dallas Mavericks are going to end up coming out on top in this game. Don't really need to cover much because, we all know how talented Luka is. We all know how talented Kyrie is, and we all know just, how good the team, really is right now. They were 5th in the power rankings for a reason. The Knicks go up against the Bulls in Chicago at 8 o'clock. And I feel like the Knicks, they're going to end up winning yet again. They just came off of a win beating the Bucks. Beating the Bulls shouldn't be that big of a deal, regardless of the fact that they were also away they were in the Bucks stadium when they played the Bucks, I believe. I'm just going to go double check real quick. Yep, they were in Bucks home court when they played, and they ended up winning. So I don't really see them losing to Chicago. And there's not really much for Chicago to lose either. Their spot in the play-in is not in jeopardy, and the Knicks' spot in the playoffs is not in that much jeopardy if they lose. And I don't think they will lose against this team because the Knicks, they're just the better team, and the Bulls, they've had to suffer through injuries, with Zach LaVine. The fact that they don't have their best player is definitely hurting them, but also, the Knicks don't have their second-best player in Julius Randle. So we'll see how this matchup goes, but I fully think that the Knicks are going to end up winning. They're only 2.5-point favorites, so they're expecting it to be a close game. The Sixers, they match up against the Pistons. Now, while this game sounds easy, this is a very much-needed win for Philly if they want to even have a chance of taking a playoff spot with the 6th seed as opposed to needing to play a couple of games in the play-in, winning a couple games in the play-in tournament. So that's sort of the that's the expectation, and that's sort of the pressure going into this game for Philly, because if they don't win, then they just put that opportunity to get a 6th seed in jeopardy, and you don't want to do that, especially against a very, very bad team like the Pistons. And now that they have Joel Embiid, there's really no excuse for them to lose in this game. And if they do lose, it's a problem. So not really going to cover much on this game because it's either Philly wins or they don't, and it's Philly's game to lose at this point. The Raptors, they go up against the Pacers. Now, I have the Pacers winning this. They're 8-point favorites going into this game. I think their offense is just way too powerful, and the Raptors, they don't have that much offense to really make the Pacers work on defense, if that makes sense. I don't know why the brightness is like this now. That's a little weird. But regardless, again, the Pacers, they have the offense, and the Raptors, they just don't have enough defense to stop that offense. And the only way that I see the Pacers losing is if they have a bad shooting night. But I don't think that's going to happen. Given the amount of shots that they take, given the offense that they run, I don't see that happening in the near future. But we'll see going into this game. Now, the Heat, they play against the Hawks, so this is a potential play-in matchup, so there's play-in implications on this game. And the Hawks, they don't need this win because their spot isn't in jeopardy. But the Heat, however, they do need this win if they want to continue to hold that, I believe it's the 8th seed. Yes, if they want to continue to hold that 8th seed, they're going to need to have this win. And if they want to have a chance to steal the 6th seed from, I believe it's the Pacers, right? let me see. Yep, the Pacers. If they want to steal that 6th seed from the Pacers, then they're just going to have to hope that they end up winning out and the Pacers drop a game. So if the Pacers drop this game and the Miami Heat or the Sixers end up winning, it's really like, it could be bad news for the Pacers, given how like the playoff standings are and the play-in standings are. Corrido in the chat, in my junior year in high school, my ankle sprained on me and I could not put weight on it at all, and I only missed 1 quarter and I forced my sprained ankle run and jump play all game long, and we won. Grade 2 sprain. Good Lord, you are a tank for doing that. Jesus Christ. But, like, I mean, most NBA players, whenever they have, like, what's it called? Whenever they sprain their ankle, it's like, it feels like it's the end of the world. Like, oh, no, this is a bad injury and things of that nature. But way to tough out. And let's see. Next game on this list is the Kings going up against the Thunder. Now, even though the Thunder are going to be playing at home, I think the Kings have a slight chance of beating them. Just a slight chance, a very, very slim chance, because both of those teams are in that weird spot where it's like, I feel like they could beat any team, but they could also lose to any team, and I just wouldn't be surprised. Why is the brightness doing that? I don't like it. Stop. Okay. But regardless, it's like they could beat any team that they want, and they could also lose to any team, and that's sort of the same spot. Like, that's where OKC is. That's where the Kings are right now. So it's very difficult for me to pick out who's going to win in this game, but if I had to pick, I would pick the Kings, because I feel De'Aaron Fox can score as much as Shai Gilgeous, and I feel like Sabonis is just going to be a better matchup than Chet. Even though Chet is a very good rookie and he's very lanky and he can get blocks and things of that nature, I think Sabonis is fundamentally a better player and just knows how to get his open shot whenever he wants it. But that is just my opinion. We will see how this game goes. Now, the Orlando Magic play the Houston Rockets. Orlando Magic. So I have the Magic winning, obviously, just so I could sing that song. And just because, like, the Magic, they are the better team. And Houston has sort of slowed down since they've been eliminated from the play-in. So I don't really see the Magic losing to a team that's just, like, taking their foot off the gas. But that's just me. No need to really talk about that game that much. Now, the Spurs, they match up against the Grizzlies. Bottom-feeding team, not even going to bother talking about that other than, like, you know, Victor Wembanyama doing the thing, like getting a new shoe deal. Like, yay, we have to see the shoe. I haven't seen the shoe. We just got a new logo. But that's really the only news for those teams, because neither of those teams are going to be in the play-in. Oh, I totally forgot to talk about Klay Thompson. I completely forgot to say that. So Klay Thompson, he has plans on signing with the Warriors coming towards this off season. However, he said that, like, that was his plan, but he also has to take his mental health into consideration. So whatever is going on with him, it's probably, like, you know, his psyche's a little bit affected, given how, like, he moved from being a starter to being on the bench, and his shot hasn't really been the same consistent shot that, like, I'm used to seeing, where it's like he just doesn't miss. And all of this stuff needs to be played into account, especially when giving him his contract. So, are the Warriors planning on paying him that as much money as he hopes, or are they not going to be paying him as much money as he hopes? I'm not entirely sure. We'll have to wait for more news on that, but that is his plan. He does plan on signing with the Golden State Warriors in the offseason. So he's not leaving, like I said previously. Like, this big three is going to stay with Golden State the entire time. So would not be surprised if it's like, if he's just going to retire as a Golden State Warrior. My bad, I couldn't find the words, and I don't know why. The Wizards, they match up against the Timberwolves. Don't need to talk about this game much. The Timberwolves are probably going to beat the Wizards. The Wizards are not a good team, and the Timberwolves are just a better team, so not going to touch on that. Same thing with the Nuggets going up against the Jazz, because the Nuggets are just the better team. Clippers, they match up against the Suns. Now, this is a very, very good matchup, because there's very, very probable playoff implications for both of these teams meeting against each other in the playoffs. So, depending on how depending on how the standings go, we'll see how it ends, but I am completely, I'm expecting them to meet. I'm expecting them to meet in the playoffs. Depending on who the Suns play in the first round, I expect them to meet in the playoffs. But next on the list is Pelicans going up against Trailblazers. Again, another team where it's like a bottom-feeding team going up against a better team that's already in play-in contention. Don't really need to talk about it that much. And the only real pressure for the Pelicans is just making sure that they don't fall into like a lower seed than they already are. And maybe make the playoffs, maybe make that 6th seed. Right now, Phoenix holds that 6th seed, so the pressure is on Phoenix in winning this game. And if they don't win this game, then it's possible that the Lakers or the Pelicans could end up sneaking into that 6th seed. But that's basically all the games that are going down tonight. And with that, we are out of time for this 3rd segment. So now I will go ahead and go into the 4th segment where I talk about the NBA awards and the betting odds for those specific awards and what player I think is going to end up, or what coach is what I think is going to end up winning these awards. So I will be right back after this short break.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.